Hi, I'm Jim with Marine Electronics Installation. I'm here today to talk to you about sonar. I'm going to try to do a series of videos to help you get the basics on sonar. First off, there's a lot of new terms to sonar that weren't around just a few years ago. Some of those terms you'll hear people call it a fish finder, you'll hear side scan, side imaging, pulse, conventional, chirp, which is a fairly new technology. You'll hear forward scan, 3D, 2D, HD, down scan, 360, all kinds of new terms that have just recently been applied to this technology. It can get real confusing quick, so hopefully I can help with some of the confusion, give you some basics on it. And what we're going to attempt to do is cover some information on the different technologies, the different transducers, and a little bit of how to use these technologies and how to match the proper transducer up and the proper type of sonar up for your type of boating. This is a place where there's a lot of confusion. We get calls all the time on this. A lot of times it's not even the end user calling us. Sometimes it's other installation companies in the local area that are confused. They call us up to help them out with making the right decisions and getting the right equipment into the boat for the customer. First off, there's a lot of technologies and there's a lot of different styles of boating. You've got cruising, sailing, workboats, fishing boats. Some of these technologies can be applied to cruising, sailing, even workboats, but most of this video series will be focused on fishing. Offshore, inshore, and coastal boats will be our main focus on this. Sonar works by sending out a signal, and it's often called echo sounding. Works very similar to an echo. The sound goes out and strikes an object and bounces back. It's also very similar to when you see a lightning flash in the distance in the sky, and you start counting the seconds and you time the report of the thunder from the lightning. You can tell how far away the storm is by how many seconds it takes for that to reach your ear. This is very similar to how sounders work. What they do is the sounder box or unit itself creates a signal, sends that to the transducer, and then the transducer sends that signal out through the water. The whole time the sounder unit itself is timing the instant that it sent the signal out and waits for the return signal to come back to the transducer. When it strikes the face of the transducer, a small signal is created, goes back to the sounder unit, and the amount of time from when the sounder sent out the signal till it receives the signal can be calculated to tell how deep the water is. Fish, floating objects, structure, that type of stuff that's closer to the transducer will have a real faint, low-powered signal come back first before what they call the main bang comes back from the bottom. The bottom of the seafloor, seabed, river, lake, stream, whatever you're in, will reflect the strongest signal, and then fish and structure in between will reflect much weaker signals, and your fish finder or sounder unit can decipher these signals and record the time of how long it takes for the signal to reach the transducer and calculate how deep that fish or that structure is from the transducer. These are the basics on how all sounders work. It doesn't matter the frequency of the sounder or if it's down image, side image, they all function the same. They send out a signal and then they time and wait for that signal to return to the unit. Chirp sonars are slightly different, but they still work off of the same basic function of sending the signal out and waiting for that signal to return and timing those returns. So with that said, that's going to wrap it up for the first video, and we'll jump right into more information in our next video. Thank you for watching.